All right. And so besides from doing M&A, we can also help you generate passive income from power brokerings. So I'll share with you what that means. Now, some people share with me that M&A is risky and expensive. It's risky and expensive, but the reward, high risk, high reward, right? But I totally concur with you that M&A is not for everyone, right? So let me ask you this question. Do you know someone who does a poor job of keeping customers? Do you know someone who does a poor job of keeping customers? And the answer may surprise you because I know a lot of people, doing a poor job of keeping customers, and they think because the price is high, so that's why not a whole lot, not a lot of customers want to do business with them. But like I shared with you earlier, now you know the insight about the 6 reasons why customers don't return, or those 6 reasons. So because of that insight, you know, because of that insight, I was able to come from the position, say, what if I do all the work while you do nothing and take 50% of the profit? So let me repeat. What if I do all the work while you do nothing and take 50% of the profit? All right, all right. How does it work, Michael? All right, I'll share with you how does it work, how that does work. It works by you will become a sort of like a power brokering between the seller and the buyers. In this case, that say if you knew somebody who is doing a poor job of keeping customers, and you want to connect them with me so that I can help them revive lost customers and do all of the upsell or all of the strategy that I shared with you earlier, so that they can generate extra revenues and extra cash. So those are the two value added that I share with you. Number one, to resurrect lost customers. Number two, to get more profit out of the existing customers. And apparently, we don't get paid if your friends didn't get the result, right? We promise them we can bring them lost customers and generate extra revenue. We don't, if your friends or colleagues that don't get the results, we don't get paid. And go back to the pledge that I said earlier, is I do all the work while you do nothing and take 50% of profit. And so let's go through one scenario to see how that means to you, how much that you will get, how big is the opportunities that we're talking about over here. All right, so apparently let's use the past performance of 27% rate that they were able to help bring back. So this is the earlier case study that I shared with you. Assuming, let's say you have an average sales about $5,000, and you have 1,000 customers in your CRM system, and let's say if we were able to revive 27% of lost customers, so it would generate about $1.35 million. And out of the 27% of lost customers, what if we were able to do an upsell and get 25% of the lost customer by an additional $1,000 orders? So that would translate to $67,000, $500. So totally, you will get about $1.4 million in the customer reactivation method, just by that, just by the $1.4 million. Now let's see what that means. So as I mentioned earlier, I do all the work while you do nothing and take 50%. So 50% of $1.4 million, that would be $708,000. Now, it's up to you if you want to cash out this money. Maybe I'm not a CPA or accountant, but I don't want to pay tax, but I want to pay 40% of tax. So that would, after the 40% tax, you only net about $425,000. So I don't know about you, but I'm not in a position where I desperately need cash. My business is doing well, so I don't need to get cash right now, right? And that would lead me to another way to save the tax or get even extra more profit. Now, what if you get a monthly paycheck for the rest of your life? What if you get a monthly paycheck for the rest of your life? Now, how does that work? All right, what you can do is that you can exchange the result for equity, exchange the result for equities. So in other words, so let's go through our example one more time. So let's say on point number 5, if you were able to generate about $1.4 million and your share of 50% is $708,000. And let's say at the point of the engagement, the company will value at $5 million. So $700,000 would represent about 14.17% of the company equity, right? Now, what if the company is doing about 25% margin after tax? So $5 million they do for every month. Every year they will get about $1.25 million of annual profit. So when you get about 14% of equity in the companies and on an annual basis, you get a check of $177,000 per year. So you can do it. You can get check per month if you want, but that's your share when you have about 14% of equity. Okay, so now $177,000, and since this is more like a dividend, so you pay a different tax rate for dividend. All right. Once again, check with your accountant or your CPA. I'm not an accountant or CPA, so if that were the case, you will net, after the tax, your net amount would be $159,000 per year. So let's talk about another scenarios, like apparently, as long as the business is profitable, you get the check. No question asked, with the amount of effort that I put behind to consistently bring back lost customers and land new one for that business that you introduced. So you will continuously get a check as long as the company is still operates. Now, what if they sold the business? What if they sold the business? Let's go through some numbers so you understand what that means to you when they sold the business. All right, so we talk about number 5, where our effort would generate about $1.417 million, and you have about 14% of equity. And what happened? Like with the effort, after 5 years, the company was able to double their valuation from $5 million to $10 million. At that time, the owner decided to sell the companies. Now, within 5 years, you have you have a check for the past 5 years at $177,000. So after 5 years, you get about $885,000 check, total amount check for 5 years. And imagine you still have 14% of equity earlier. Now, when the company sold, for say for $10 million, and you would get a $1.4 million, $1.4 million. So the total amount of cash or cash that generate over 5 years for you, including the sales, that would be $2.3 million. $2.3 million. That's amazing, right? And that's a lot of cash, and you should be thankful about that. So basically, it's just a hypothetical case, but like you said, just from one connections, and when I do all the work for you to bring back their lost customers, and as you see, this problem is pervasive, and it's happened for all businesses, whether it's small, medium, or too big to fail. It's all happening, right? So once again, if you were interested in, and if you were interested in doing this one, send me an email with the subject line of Stop Losing Service to my email at michael@purdueresult.com. And I can't promise that I can work with you, but at least we can hop on a call and find out if it's a good fit for us to collaborate.